Welcome to the ClearPath OS 2200 Release 20.0 update for the Enterprise Relational Database Server for ClearPath OS 2200 or RDMS. My name is Regina Abner and I am presenting on behalf of the RDMS development team, which includes myself, Tao Wen, Hirsch Saha, Devin Wadwa, and Don Walker. Here are the features that are available in RDMS 24R1. You can now declare a union of derived tables and common table expressions within a union or union all clause. You can merge values from a derived table into a primary table using the update synchronize from syntax. You can use the alter table statement to change the semantics of a column from null allow to not null. The union all syntax allows you to derive a result table by combining two other result tables. A derived table is a query expression in the from clause that contains the result of the query expression evaluation. You can define a common table expression using a with clause, which allows you to give a query name to a query expression within an SQL statement. RDMS levels prior to 24R1 restricted declaring a derived table within a union. If you attempted this operation, RDMS would return error number 22800 that specified a derived table or common table expression may not be referenced by a union or union all operation. You can now get result sets from union or union all to contain rows from derived tables and common table expressions as well as base tables. You can find the updated syntax in the RDMS PRM in section 7.4.1. The new syntax highlighted on this slide allows you to reference derived tables or common table expressions in union or union all query expressions. Support of this SQL standard syntax improves RDMS performance and interoperability and saves you considerable time and effort. The following slides contain a few examples to demonstrate how you can now use derived tables and common table expressions with union or union all. All of these examples used to return an RDM 22800 error. The first example describes a union of two derived tables named DT1 and DT2. This example demonstrates a union of a common table expression named CTE1 and a base table named Table1. This example demonstrates that you can use a derived table and a common table expression in a union all query, including a base table with a group by clause and union all. The last example is similar to the group by example on the previous slide. This slide demonstrates the union all of derived tables and common table expressions, and a base table, including the order by clause. Here the order by clause requires a position specification when the set operator union or union all is used. The common table expression CTE1 can now be used with the select query after the union all clause. The scope of the common table expression is expanded to outside of the subquery because the common table expression CTE1 is now allowed in the select query after the union all clause. Prior to RDMS 24.1, if you wanted to merge two tables, you had to execute an update statement and an insert statement. Furthermore, you had to provide a subquery on your insert statement to restrict the updated records that were currently in the table. Now in 24R1, you can use the keyword synchronize to do the same thing. You find the syntax in the RDMS PRM in section 10.5.1. In previous levels, RDMS returned error 43230 when someone used synchronize from with a derived table. In RDMS 24R1, you can now use the synchronize from syntax to merge values from a derived table into a primary table. This example demonstrates that you can use the update synchronize from syntax to merge two versions of a table, houses, production, and outstate. You can now use the derived table home, which was created from version outstate, to update version production. This slide shows the result of the SQL statement from the previous slide. The price of house H101 in houses version production was updated from 185,000 to 170,000 from the value in houses version outstate. H103 has the same value in both tables, so the row containing H103 in houses version production was not changed. House H107 and H108 were not in the houses version production, so they are inserted into houses version production from houses version outstate. The alter table statement is used to change some of the characteristics of a base table. These changes can include modifying column size, renaming columns, adding or dropping constraints. This feature allows you to change the semantics of the column from null allow to not null. It also allows the return of the non-null default for any record where this column previously had the null value. Columns must have a non-null default value in order to apply this command. Once the column has been changed to default for null, it cannot be changed back to allow null values, nor can the default be changed to null. You can find the new toDefault for null syntax in section 6.2.2 of the RDMS PRM. There are several restrictions on the column when using the default for null syntax. User and generated defaults are not allowed. The column cannot be indexed or be data type blob. It cannot participate in a foreign key relationship or include a collate clause. This is the create table statement for the following example, which contains 4 columns: species, bulb size, deer resistance, and harvest date. Use the select star command to display all of the values from table bulb. The 4-column names of this table are species, bulb size, deer resistance, and harvest date. The alter table shows an update of table bulb, adding a new column named rabbit resistance with a default value of no. Use the select star command again to display the updated values of table bulb. Now you can see the new column rabbit resistance added at the end. Since we did not specify not null for column rabbit resistance, the default value will be null. This slide shows a report of table bulb after the previous update where we added the new column of rabbit resistance with a default of no. We can see that the replace null with default column is false and that rabbit resistance has the null allowed value of yes. This is the table columns view from the RDMS catalog. We can see column rabbit resistance has the value allowed. When you insert a new row, Lily, with the null value for column rabbit resistance, RDMS allows the insert because null values are allowed. After you change rabbit resistance to default for null, null values are no longer allowed, and RDMS changed all previous null values to the default value, which is now no. This is the report of table bulb after the alter table command on the previous slide. The value for replace null with default column is now set to true, and column rabbit resistance now has no in the nulls allowed column. This is the table columns view from the RDMS catalog. Column rabbit resistance has changed from allowed to not allowed. Note that RDMS will return RDM error 23160 on any subsequent attempt to insert a null value for column rabbit resistance, because rabbit resistance was changed to not allow. This is the end of the RDMS 24R1 feature technical update. Thank you for watching this presentation. We hope you will find the new features useful.